I'm so excited to answer your questions. Let's go. All right. Why is my company name Seraph? Well, Seraph is actually short for seraphim. And seraphim are angels in the Bible. They have six wings. They are like on fire. They have the appearance of fire, the Bible says, the book of Isaiah specifically. And they shake the foundations of heaven with their passion and with their zeal. They also seem to have a really cool ability to identify the best in people and help bring that out of folks. Like they help people step into their calling with confidence. And this is exactly what I'm trying to do with Seraph 7 Studios. Shake some foundations and help some people see the best in themselves and find their callings. All right, let's talk Pointer Sisters. Why did I choose the Pointer Sisters? I mean, come on, they're the best. I'm an 80s kid. And in 1987, Motown did a Christmas special. And it was so awesome. So my family, we watched it, we recorded it on a VHS. And then every so often, my brothers and I would watch it again and again and again. And yeah, I just love it. And so this past Christmas, December 2023, I decided to watch the Motown Christmas special just because, just for some nostalgia. And boom, who starts the show? The Pointer Sisters. But let me tell you what they did. They started at the back of the stage. Okay. They rocked their way up to the front of the stage. All right. And then they went over to the middle of the stage. All right. But then they walked down the aisle. Everybody's on their feet. All right. Like this is a church revival. All right. Everybody's just up jamming. Okay. So they're rocking still down the aisle, around the corner. And it seemed like they went right on out the door. And I'd never seen that before. I thought that was amazing. And the amazing charisma of their performance was just, it jumped off the screen at me, and especially June's charisma, it just hit me. And at the time, I was already thinking about the Songbirds game that I've been working on. At that time, Songbirds was featuring Etta James, Dinah Washington, Ella Fitzgerald, and Billie Holiday. Amazing. But the Pointer Sisters, man, it was that energy. It was the spark, I think, that I was looking for. Because with the first version of Songbirds, I was missing a protagonist. I was trying to really figure out and like I had the gameplay elements. I had the story down and what the player would do on each of these amazing worlds from each of these awesome legends. But I was missing, who does the player experience this game as? And so when I watched the Motown Christmas special this past Christmas, it just boom, it all fit together. That charisma, that energy, it was amazing. The more I dug into the Pointer Sisters, man, the more I just fell in love with their whole family. There was one show, like the Mike Douglas show, I think it was, where they had their mother and their father. Like that show was just so amazing. I saw my own family there. Yeah, like my cousins. I don't have any sisters, unfortunately, but I do have a lot of cousins. Yeah, and so I saw, I could see my family in their faces. I could see my family in the way that they interacted with each other. And even though each of the sisters are so different, I could relate in ways to each one of them. And if I could do that, so many other people can as well. And there's just so many lessons, so many life lessons that I apparently needed to learn. And so during my research, my approach, watching all their interviews, reading all their books, and I'm saying this like this was a simple thing. No, there is a lot of there is a lot of stuff to go through, to read, to watch. So much music. Okay, 15 studio albums, absolutely amazing. They sang every genre of American music. So and that was another thing, right? There's something here for everybody. The first version of the game was very bluesy, very blues oriented, which I love. But this one I think has even more broad appeal, which I think is good, and especially giving these four different looks at womanhood, at sisterhood, and relationships. I think it's really amazing, really positive. Um, the other really cool part is there is something awesome that happens when I listen to their music. Like seriously, so I come from a family. I have a very huge family on both sides, my mother's side and my father's side. My family's huge. On my father's side, everybody is musically inclined. All right. Everybody can sing and play instruments. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody except for me. And so, yeah, imagine that, like being the one person in the family that can't sing. I don't know. But what I do have is a really good ear for music. Like I love going to the orchestra. I just love I love listening to music in so many different ways and forms. But there was one thing that I never had. So there's people that talk about how they see colors and things when they listen to music. That's never happened. I mean, I always think in movies, but yeah, that's as far as it goes. But when I listen to the Pointer Sisters music, I was laying in my I was laying in my bed and I was listening to the Stephen album. All right. And oh my God, you should have seen, the brain explode emoji. Yeah, because for the first time in my life, as I was listening to that, I was seeing I was seeing their voices. I was seeing like yeah, I was seeing their voices and I could follow it like a pathway, which was really, really cool. And it just led me to so many different cool places that I don't want to give too many spoilers because all that stuff is going in the game. Like it's all going in the game. Okay. But it was just such an amazing and humbling experience. But the thing is, like it only happened when I listened to the Pointer Sisters. Like I could physically in 3D space, like see their voice. It's wild. Okay. So but awesome, right? And that's kind of where the colors come from too for each sister, because that's similar to the color that I see when I listen to them sing. It's awesome. The other thing about the Pointer Sisters is that, man, they are the definition of perseverance, tenacity, of believing in yourself, of never giving up, of not letting people label you or stereotyping you, of having a dream and going out there and chasing it, right? So Anita would tell stories about how Bonnie, and I think Bonnie, I love Bonnie, by the way. She's amazing. So, but back when they were getting their start, Anita would said that Bonnie would just jump on stages with people and just take the microphone and start singing. All right, and these weren't like small people, like BB King, like people like that. She would just jump on stage and just start singing and showcasing her talent. There are many passages in Anita's book where she just talks about how Bonnie just does stuff and just convinces people of doing things. But and it's really funny. But when you think about it, that is the ultimate believing in yourself, right? Believing your talent is so good that even if you just go up there and devo your way on stage, that you're still gonna win over the crowd with your talent because you're so amazingly and uber talented. But believing in yourself, it also takes on a different dimension, right? When you don't have much of anything and you're really trying to make something of your life, you're really trying to make your name, and you're kind of coming from right, started from the bottom. Now we here, and you're starting at the bottom. So, uh, so that so it's not just a belief in yourself; it's also a willingness to know what opportunities are for you, and knowing what opportunities you might need to pass by because it might prevent you or take you on a detour away from your dream and away from your vision of what you have for your life and for your career. In the beginning, they talked about how they had a record deal with a company, and that company wanted them to basically imitate, in many ways, Honeycomb or the Jackson Five. And the Pointer Sisters were like, "No, we want to sing everything. Like we love R&B, we love soul, we love funk, but we also love country, right? We also love pop and jazz and rock and folk music. Like we love all of that. We want to tell good stories. We want to sing everything." And I think that was just so amazing how they stood up for themselves with that, knowing that hey, they may be missing out on some money here or there, and especially early on when they have kids to feed in addition to feeding themselves. All right, that takes a lot of belief, and I'm so happy that they stood for that. I mean, their first few albums are just like masterpieces. Like every song is just amazing. The Pointer Sisters are some of the greatest song stylists the world has ever seen. Like I don't even know like how they came up with some of those arrangements are just amazing, right? And then when you hear Ruth and Anita when they would talk about their harmonies, it was all just a natural thing. Like they would say they knew what the other sister was gonna do if they went there, or that sister would go, and they just went there, and that's amazing. When they got their start in the Bay Area back because they're from Oakland, so when they got their start, what was super cool is that they were harmonizing to jazz. So folks who love jazz know that jazz is all about that improvisation, right? You have one instrument going over here doing its thing, and the other one's over here doing its own thing, and somehow it just gels well and it works, right? But actually harmonizing to that is amazing. The Pointer Sisters said, "Hey, Listen, you want to go over there? You want to go over there? Let's go. Let's do it. We'll meet you there. Awesome. But only sisters can do that. I don't know if you should try that at home. All right, what is my favorite Pointer Sister song? That is so difficult because they're all so great. I would have to break it down by sister. So I would say for Miss Ruthie, it would be I love Blind Faith, but man, Waiting on You, that song goes hard. Waiting on You, that and she wrote it too. Like I love it. But yeah, Waiting on You, that's my favorite from Miss Ruthie. And then for Anita, How Long? Bet You Got a Chick on the Side. I love that song. That is the song. I love that song. And then also Sleeping Alone. That's a great song too. I believe they wrote that with Stevie Wonder. That was a fantastic song. I love Freedom. Okay, I know I'm saying a bunch for Anita because I was like, oh, could I be dreaming of special things? Okay, so I love the Stefan album. It's hard for me, Stefan album or special things. I would kind of say the Stefan album is here. Special things, I don't know. They're neck and neck for me. Okay, I love both of those albums and all the songs on the album. All right, for June, All I Know Is the Way I Feel. I love that song. I love it. I love it. I love it. And another one that I really love is Keep Her the Flame. So that's one that June had on her second solo album. That song goes hard. Okay, in all of its 80s glory, it is an amazing song. And for Bonnie, man, Easy Days. Easy Days is easily next to How Long Bet You Got a Chick on the Side, Easy Days. Those two songs are probably yeah, those I love those songs. And I would say also for Bonnie, I love More and More. I love Bonnie singing a slow song. I do. But nothing beats the energy of Bonnie when she's singing a fast song. So I do love the disco version of Heaven Must Have Sent. I love the original version too. When I was first listening to that song, and and I listened to the original one first, and I actually watched a music video. All right, so first part I was like, yeah, okay. I think I started doing something. I started typing something on the computer. Okay, then all of a sudden, that last third of the song starts. All right, and I don't even want to spoil it for. I want you guys to go and watch it. All right. And I'm not even going to tell you what Bonnie does, right, towards the end of that song. But it is absolutely amazing, and everybody needs to hear it, right? That's one of the reasons why I'm making this game. These women are absolutely amazing. Everybody needs to experience this. All right. Everybody needs to have these mind blowing epiphanies and doses of maturity, awesomeness that the Pointer Sisters bring. Here's the thing: it is fundamentally good music in every sense. They work with some of the best musicians, right? And their voices are just, they could sing anything. And here's the thing is that their live performances are oftentimes even more amazing than the studio album. Like I think I read, I don't remember if it was Miss Ruthie or if it was Miss Anita, but they were talking about how like one of the criticisms that they got was that the studio albums weren't matching all of that charisma and energy that they were putting out in those live performances. I mean, the Pointer Sisters came up singing live, so that's just what they do, and they still do it. Miss Ruthie's still out there uh, touring with her daughter and her granddaughter. Sound amazing. When I listen, I'm trying to be like Ruth Pointer, okay? Because when I turn 78, I still want to be able to go out there and tour, right? To do a little karate kick when Jump comes on. Like Jump is a song, by the way. For those of you who don't know, you need to know. Jump was one of the biggest songs by the Pointer Sisters, and it's an amazing song. And in that song, generally, it was June who would just do karate kicks, okay? And as as a kid, I'm an anime fan, and so when I saw June Pointer doing karate kicks on stage, that's all I needed to see. I was a fan. Check. Okay, how did I come up with the colors for each sister? So coming up for the colors for each sister was actually pretty easy because I just went with the colors that I see when I listen to their voice, like when I listen to their music. And it just so happens that those colors really fit their personality. So, for instance, with blue, Miss Ruth, she wears a lot of blue. Like so. So I watched, all of their interviews, all of their music videos, and in the span of a few months, right? So from December 25th to today, and even ongoing, all what I do with my day is I would say I don't know at least 8 hours of it, if not more, is devoted to the Pointer sisters, right? But so yeah, she wears a lot of blue. I don't even know if she realizes this, if blue is her favorite color. Yeah, she doesn't. Out of all the things that she talks about in her book, she doesn't tell us her favorite color. So I don't know. Blue is her color. All right, so for Anita. So here's the thing: is that with Anita, sometimes I see her as red, and then sometimes it's like white, like kind of a purity white. But here's the thing: is that because Bonnie is also red, so I had to kind of decide which one makes more sense. It's so, but for Anita, it's to kind of, because that's how I see her voice. It's either red and sometimes it's white. But that doesn't necessarily work for video gaming. So I had to find like white, right? Like, uh, yeah, you could have like an all white costume or aesthetic, but it's hard. It doesn't come across as well in images and in video games. So I needed something else, and so that's when I came across gold. I think gold, given Anita, Anita's very regal, right? I mean, Ruth said that Anita was very serious sometimes. Anita was she to me always nice, always super caring, always compassionate, but she seemed to also be a little bit meticulous. I could tell, like I could tell when I watched it when she would start to get annoyed by some of the things that were being said, but she wouldn't say anything because she was just that nice. She just, or and if it got to a point where she needed to, she would just kind of gently guide you. She's just a golden person on the inside and out. Her beauty really comes from within. Anita's, she's my hero. All right, Bonnie, red. Bonnie is all passion. Man, Bonnie is, yeah, she experienced everything in life. She experienced all the things in life. I think that she probably wanted to experience all the sensations, all the things. Red. That's Bonnie. Her first album, Red. One thing that I really loved about Bonnie is she talked about how she wanted, so you guys remember back in the day, you had record stores, vinyls, so CDs used to be sold in stores, before all the digital stuff. So you'd walk in and then you kind of go through to find the album that you're looking for. And so Bonnie wanted her album to be instantly recognizable, right? She wanted you, as soon as you saw it, boom, that's Bonnie, and boom, exactly which Bonnie record that was. I thought that was really dope. And so to that end, she kind of like color coded them. She wanted to have one like album for every color of the rainbow, which I thought was super super cool. So her first one was red and then purple, and then the third one was kind of like red and purple. So I thought she would have gone for something else, but I think red is her thing. So, but that is also why I really loved her final album, like a Picasso. In some ways it made me a bit sad because I knew that her dream was to have, all these different albums that had all these different colors in it. But I was also happy because, when we got new music from Bonnie, but also, like a Picasso kind of showed the culmination of that dream of, something that she had really envisioned for her life and that she wanted to do. So yeah. All right, my favorite live performance. Okay, so all their live performances are flawless. They're all really great. But my favorites, and I'm just going to give you a song. So my favorite song that they perform that I just love that they perform live is the Neutron Dance. But here's the thing, right? It's only the performances in the Neutron Dance when June was there. Because this is something that, like, on the studio album, you just kind of get the vanilla version. But when it's live, you get all of June's like quips, man. It's almost like she's trying to make Ruth laugh, and like, and she doesn't necessarily succeed at making Ruth laugh because Ruth is like a consummate professional, but I laugh every time. Okay, I laugh every time. And my favorite performance of the Neutron Dance was when they performed it at the Capitol in the rain. It started raining down, and so that gave us like even more awesome June clips where she talked about you're singing in the rain and just all these rain related things. I loved it. I have no idea how Ruth was able to not just start laughing because it was really funny. It was really funny. Where does the game take place? Hmm. So I don't want to give too many spoilers. So I don't want to share. I want to share just enough about the game because the game is so heavily story based. So I don't want to give too much away, but I can tell you where it takes place. It takes place in the afterlife. Why did I do that? What does this even mean? I don't even know what that means. what game engine am I using to make the game, and why did I select it? All right, so I'm using the Unreal Engine 5, and the reason I'm using the Unreal Engine 5 is because it's an amazing, it's an amazing game engine. In the Batman Arkham series, Fortnite, so many amazing games were made using Unreal Engine 5. And also, for my use case, which is developing it for the PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and then possibly later a PC port, the Unreal Engine allows me to develop the game, the main base of the game, basically one time. And then from there, all I have to do is just make some tweaks, for each of the different systems. But I don't have to fully recreate the game for each platform. Um, the Unreal Engine also really significantly speeds up the development time, and you can get like, so for us, we're a double A company, so that means that we don't have this huge budget like the triple A folks have. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to give you a focused game, right? That has a bit of a smaller scope. We have a limited open world. We're really more so focused on the narrative, but there is some exploration and things that are going on. So if you guys remember the Batman Arkham series, I think the first one, Batman Arkham Asylum, yeah, Batman Arkham Asylum. So I believe that game was made using the Unreal Engine, and they were able to actually complete it in like a year, which is amazing. It's so, yeah. So I'm hoping, for my team to be able to stay nimble, to stay flexible. We really have to have the best tech, and the Unreal Engine 5, it is industry standard. Amazing. Also, if you're interested in learning game development, download the Unreal Engine. It's free to download, and there's so many free resources, tutorials, courses that you could take, to really get you started, making your first game. Get in there. All right, how did I incorporate the Pointer Sisters' personalities in the gameplay? All right, so again, I don't want to give too much away when it comes to the story, but I will tell you a little bit about their move sets. A little, I don't want to give too much, a little bit. All right, so let's start with Bonnie, right? Because Bonnie's fun. She's a firecracker. All right. So Bonnie's kind of like, she's not afraid to be in your face, right? Bonnie, there's times where, okay, so in Anita's book, whenever Anita wanted to say something maybe a little bit critical about somebody, Anita didn't say it. She quoted Bonnie. She let Bonnie say it. I thought that was awesome. But Bonnie's not afraid to tell you what it is. All right. In a very Bonnie way. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. So for Bonnie's design, and I would say maybe core move set in the game, is Bonnie's the brawler, right? She's the brawler. She's gonna be in your face, right? She's gonna uppercut you, all right? She's gonna So that's Bonnie. She's definitely the up close and personal fighter. So Anita's amazing, but I don't necessarily see Anita as being a person who would at all ever want to wield a weapon or anything like that. And actually, like, so for this particular game, there's no guns at all in this entire game, because that doesn't fit with the Pointer Sisters. But with Anita, she actually doesn't wield any weapons at all, right? So Anita, all of her attacks or her moveset is all based on her aura. So aura is kind of similar maybe to a magic system in the game. Perhaps it's kind of like the power from like just within her, just who she naturally is. And so what's really cool about Anita, because so in her book she talks about how she was born at the house. The other sisters were born in a hospital. Anita said, I was born at the house. All right, so that tells you right there, family means just so much to her. So in the game, when the sisters are close to Anita, they actually start to heal a little bit, right? Because her aura just naturally heals them, right? She's also kind of like that heavy mage who kind of is at a distance and will just hit you with a fireball. That's Anita, all right. But she's also, you go over to her so that you can heal. She'll heal you up, so you get back out there and take down that bad guy. All right. But yeah, no weapons for Anita. It's all that inner power, that inner glow that she has. All right. Then we have Miss Ruthie. All right. So I just have this feeling. I've never met Ruth Pointer. But I just have this feeling that when she walks into a room, well, all the Pointer sisters, right? Like, boom, they have your attention. I mean, they're all like supermodels, right? They're like 6 foot tall, like goddesses. So, but Ruth just kind of gives like this presence that I think is awesome. She told this awesome story in one of the interviews about a book that she was reading, and in that book there was uh, a knight, and the knight wanted to just always be on guard. Right, he took his uh, duty of protection very seriously, so he never took off his armor. Right, and then finally, when it got to a point in his life where he felt like safe, it was like, all right, I can take this armor off now. You know, my kids don't recognize me anymore. Like, what's going on? Yeah, so he tries to take it off, but the armor is rusted. He waited way too long to take that armor off. So that story really resonated with me, you know, and I saw that it really also resonated with Ruth. And when I was thinking about it, you know, I don't really know any Black women characters that are knights. I think like there's have to be like some smaller stories, but none of the mainstream, right? So when we think of like superheroes, and you know, none of them happen to be Black women, right? I can't recall a single Black woman knight portrayed on any movie that I've seen. Doesn't mean they don't exist. It's none that I've seen. So yeah, I thought that was just something really cool, something really different. So Ruth is kind of like a knight. She's like that tank character, right? She's just a lot of defense, right? And when she hits you, it hurts. So she's a knight character. And then finally we have June. And June is a character that the player plays as. They play as June. So June, like she's real quick. All right. So like she's she's kind of a super evader, right? So just I don't know. I don't want to say like you're playing as a Flash because she's not that fast, but she has a lot of speed to her. She's a good mid-range character, but if she needs, she can get in and out, which is real fast. And so that idea came about, well, for many reasons. But one really funny reason was when Anita said she confronted June about something. This was like backstage somewhere in a hotel, maybe, I don't know, there. So anyway, she confronted June and June got mad, right? And so June slapped her. And then June ran. And Anita said she got so mad that she like grabbed something. I don't know, it was like water or something, or like some dip or something, and she went to throw it at June because like June was booking it out. So she went to throw the thing at June, and the water or the dip, whatever, just sprayed all over Anita. Ah, okay. So what that tells me is that June will definitely hit and run. Okay, like she's, but also like who hits Anita? Like who? Like, I mean, that's a sister thing, right? Sisters, only sisters can do that because that was one of the inspirations for June's very quick, kind of mid range moveset that we give her. What's really cool too is that in this game you have 2-player co-op, which is awesome. So the second player gets to play as Bonnie, which I think is super fun. And that's another thing. Our 2-player co-op. It seems like game developers forget sometimes that the main goal of the game is to have fun. That players play the game because it brings them joy. It brings them some happiness, you know? And so part of that is playing alongside your friends. Like I remember coming up as a kid and I would play either Super Mario, Mega Man, Tecmo Bowl, whatever, or Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, you know, and you have your cousin sitting next to you, you know, you're mashing, you know, the buttons. It's really fun. And then you lose and you hand the controller to the other cousin, you know, and yeah, it was a lot of fun that way. It's I kind of want to bring that back. You know, right now there's so many games that if I go to my friend's house and we want to play a game together, one of us has to go to a different room to log on to a different system so that you know we can get online and then play. Like that's dumb. We should still be able. We want to play online, but we also want to play sitting next to each other. So I'm bringing that back. There's 2-player co-op where you can sit in your living room next to your friend, and you guys can actually play the game together in addition to playing multiplayer. The other thing is, so this game, the Pointer Sisters, man, they're about cooperation, right? So in this game, the multiplayer is working together to accomplish your goals. So it's not necessarily you won't be playing against other human players, but you'll be playing with other human players to accomplish it. So it's a very collaborative game, collaborative multiplayer, and collaborative 2-player co-op. Zora. I created this AI named Zora AI. She's still in development. She's a generalist AI, so meaning that She's not just like a large language model. She's designed to do different things and just varied different tasks, which are really cool. So we're teaching Zora some animation, how to help with game development. And one of the coolest things is the speech to speech capability that we're giving Zora. What that is you'll have one person, you have your voice actor, and they're going to voice act an amazing performance, right? Whatever. And so then you take their performance and you have like the original person, and you take their performance, and you are able to use AI to basically move it closer to how the original person actually talked and sounded. So I think that's going to be really cool because a big part of getting to know the Pointer Sisters, getting to know their personalities, is also getting to know their voice. There's so much that's expressed in a human voice that we humans pick up on. So subconsciously, consciously. So we got to get that right. You know? All right, what impact do I hope this game will have? I feel like I don't know, and I wonder if I kind of like my whole life. There's all this divisiveness going on everywhere. It seems like it only gets worse before it gets better. Or we take one step forward or a couple steps back. But I'm really sick of the divisiveness. I'm really sick of all the negativity that's out there. I want to bring us back to a space of, hey, positivity, joy, empathy for one another, togetherness. I think that music really does that. Music has a way of really transcending, a lot of those society created issues that, aren't necessarily real. I think it's important to remind people that we have so much more in common than we have differences, and music does a great job of doing that. I think the other really important theme from this game is that you're not alone. When you're going through things, when you're facing a difficulty, when you're facing that threshold guardian, whatever it is that's keeping you from moving to the next like phase of life or the next thing where you should be instead of staying stagnant, is that sometimes we can trick ourselves into thinking that other people don't care. We're just in this by ourselves. But the reality is that there's lots of people that want to be there for you, and we're stronger together. And that's something that hopefully comes across through all parts of the game, is that we're stronger when we work together, we support each other, we uplift each other. And I also want to give just different looks at womanhood, at sisterhood, and the importance of sisterhood. I think that's something that's really special. Oh, and some forgiveness. There's some themes of forgiveness in there. And I think the thing that we need to remember about these Pointer Sisters is that their career spanned like 5 decades. That's 5 decades of working closely with your sister. Okay. So we, the public, got to see all the happy moments, right? The sisters, their interview, they're smiling together, they're having a great time. But it's likely that maybe, some things might have happened, right? And they needed to forgive each other for wrongs, whether they were intentional or not. And I think that definitely relates to real life, right? We definitely have people that we love, people that love us, and sometimes they or we let each other down. And it's important to find that path to forgiveness. And I think the Pointer Sisters can show us many different ways to forgive, and to show love, and to keep that sisterhood strong. They also have a lot of fans, man. They have fans all over the globe still, like me, and their fans are like serious. Okay, yeah. If I had a special message to Ruth Pointer, what would it be? That's a tough one. Man, I would say that that she's loved very much by a lot of people. I would say that as her fan, one of the things that just makes me like gives me a lot of peace when it comes to her is, like she's healthy, man. Ruth Pointer, she's 78. She talks about she works out 3 days a week. She's surrounded by love, by her kids, by her husband. I feel like, she practices like mindfulness and meditates, and she has her faith. I feel like when I'm 78, those are all the things that I want. When it comes to like what is successful and what does success look like in your life? Yeah, I mean, what does it matter if you have $1 billion, but you don't have your health? You're not surrounded by love. Nobody loves you. That's horrible. All right. So I think that, yeah, Ruth Ruth has the wealthiest life of us all, and I'm so happy for that. You know, that's what we want to see. People that have done so much and given so much of themselves to touch our lives, we want them to be happy, to be healthy, to be surrounded by love, to be joyful. I touched on a little bit how there, for each of the sisters, you know, there's something about them that I really connect with, that I really appreciate, that I really adore, and that's really just helped me become a better version of myself. I'm very different. I'm a very different person than I was when I first started this research, and I'm very thankful for that. I would say where I am, I think right now in my life is where Ruth Pointer was when she was my age in my life. So this is kind of a period of transformation for me. So I'm just I'm very thankful because you know this music has brought me so much joy. Learning about them has brought me joy. A lot of times there's the quote of never meet your heroes, right? And while I've never met any of the Pointers, um, man, I've I'm a very meticulous researcher, right? So I think that if I were to meet these heroes, there's no way I would be disappointed, right? They are just that classy, that stand up of people, compassionate, caring. You know, they're the real deal. So the next question is, am I considering getting into cloud gaming or mobile gaming? Um, hmm. So one of the reasons why I chose console gaming is because it's the part of the industry that I know the best. It's the part of the industry that I enjoy the best. I love gaming on consoles, so PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. I love experiencing game that way on just the huge, on a huge big screen TV. Just allowing myself to be fully immersed in the story. Like I love playing single player games where I just get to go and explore and enjoy. Um, Cloud gaming, I think that there's a lot of potential in cloud gaming, obviously. And Netflix games, I think is really going to explode and be something really awesome. For gamers, one of the issues with cloud gaming right now, or streaming gaming right now, is that there can be lag. Like you have to have a really good internet connection, right? Otherwise, when you're trying to duck and dodge and uppercut, if there's lag, right, you're gonna duck and dodge uppercut. But if you do that 0.5 seconds from when you intend to do it, yeah, that boss has already smacked you out the arena. Okay. And so that can really be an enjoyment killer when there's lag, with the cloud gaming, with the streaming games. I do think as our infrastructure for, internet improves, like why everybody should have like fiber optics. I'm definitely a believer that everybody should have access to the internet. But that access also needs to be like high quality access, like not just like a dial up, super slow, laggy access. When it comes to mobile applications, so that's a different part of the industry. It's a different type of coding, and type of games are a bit different because of the limitations of the hardware for mobile games. So for me, and there's also thousands of mobile games being released basically on a monthly basis, so there's a lot of competition in that area. So for me, for Seraph 7 to jump into mobile applications, we definitely need to do we would need to hire people that do that type of coding. We would need to do a ton of research about just how to stand out in that super saturated space. We would also need to have the joy and the passion for it. So right now, Seraph 7, we're console gamers. You know, we might do some mobile gaming, but that's more maybe to pass the time and not necessarily because that's our passion and that's our joy. But it doesn't mean that that won't change, right? As phones change, become even more powerful than the types of games that we're able to play on mobile on our phones are also just going to be better. I shouldn't say better, because just because a game runs on less powerful tech doesn't mean that it's lesser than. It's just a different type of game. So I would say when I say better, I mean the type of games that I like to play will be be able to play them on a mobile app as that technology and hardware evolves. But um, right now that's not our first choice. But we'll see what happens down the line. Check back in 5 years. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your awesome questions. Keep them coming. Maybe we'll do another one of these, huh? All right. I'm so excited. Take care.